Tony Bellew knocks Ilunga Makabu out cold in the third round to capture the vacant WBC Cruiserweight World title. It was a very eventful fight while it lasted. In the first round, Bellew was getting the better of it behind his left jab, using his height and reach advantage. Makabu, as we've seen in previous fights, was starting slow. But Bellew got a little bit greedy. That's how his trainer Dave Coldwell described it at the end of the round. He got a bit greedy. He had Makabu on the ropes. He was unloading and he stayed in the pocket a little bit too long. Makabu caught Bellew with a left hand, dropped him. Bellew wasn't seriously hurt, but obviously he got dropped. So the round went to Makabu 10-8. Second round, Bellew came out and boxed a lot more conservatively. He was doing what he was supposed to be doing from the beginning. And I said this, remember I had all these back and forths with these people in my comment section saying that Makabu wasn't rudimentary. Makabu is a rudimentary fighter. He doesn't really know how to cut off the ring. He waits for you to engage him before he can get his shots off. That's the kind of fighter he is. Bellew kept his distance in the second round. Makabu really couldn't get anything off. Then in the third round, Bellew was picking his spots very well from long range, moving left and right, lateral movement, landed some good shots, shook Makabu up. Got Makabu to the ropes, unloaded again, but this time he was more careful about that left hand coming back from Makabu. Detonated some wicked shots in Makabu's head, culminating with a left hook, which is Tony Bellew's best shot, and knocked Makabu out cold. Makabu went down and he was out. The referee didn't even bother to count. Why bother? The guy was in cuckoo land. So there you have it. Now, I thought if Bellew was going to win this fight, and I did think this was pretty much a 50-50 fight. I thought if he was going to win this fight, he would win it on points. And if Makabu was going to win it, I thought he was going to win it late by KO. I did say in my Keys to Victory video that Tony Bellew can't get caught up in exchanges too early, and that nearly cost him in the first round. But strangely enough, it actually was to Tony Bellew's benefit in the third round when he knocked Makabu out. Now, one thing I will say is that Tony Bellew has been a lot more active than Makabu. And I think that would have played at least some part in the way this fight unfolded. Tony Bellew has had much more ring activity, and he was, you know, obviously not suffering from ring rust or anything like that. Makabu might have been. I'm not taking nothing away from Tony Bellew. He won this fight fair and square. He proved he was a better man than Ilunga Makabu. And those people who are having a go at me before the fight, saying this is a foregone conclusion and Makabu's going to win it easily, well, I'd like to hear from you guys now. Don't get it twisted. It's not like I picked anybody in this fight. I thought it was a 50-50 and I wasn't really sure which way to go. And I think the way the fight played out, you should be able to understand why I thought it was a 50-50. Both guys hit the canvas. Both guys had the power to hurt the other guy. I just thought, you know, if Bellew boxes sensibly, he might be able to win it. I was surprised that he was able to catch Makabu as cleanly as he did. Makabu's defense, Makabu's guard wasn't as tight as normal. That's one thing I can say. He wasn't fighting out of the peekaboo style, the way that we normally see him fight out of that kind of peekaboo shell-like defense. In this fight, his guard was a lot more open than we're used to seeing. And that allowed Tony Bellew to get through with them clean shots. And as I say, knock Makabu into a parallel universe, the same place Amir Khan was a couple weekends ago against Canelo Alvarez. So hats off to Tony Bellew. He did the business. A wonderful win for the bomber, and definitely the best win that he's had so far in his career. And he'll silence a lot of people who have doubted him over his career and thought he's just pretty much a British level fighter who bigs himself up all the time and isn't really as good as he thinks he is. Well, he proved here that he is actually pretty damn good. Now, one thing I will say though as well, Makabu is not that proven at world level. He did beat Machunu. That was a very good win. But again, he got battered in that fight. And as I said in my pre-fight video, you know, I think Machunu lost that fight as much as Makabu won it, if you get what I'm saying. It was more what Machunu, the mistakes Machunu made rather than the good things that Makabu did. Machunu just didn't pace himself well enough. He was well on top. He was beating the crap out of Makabu for the majority, you know, for the early rounds of that fight anyway, but he got a bit too greedy against Makabu. What Bellew nearly did in the first round, he got too greedy and he paid the price. Whereas, you know, Mchunu don't have the kind of punching power that Bellew has. So he wasn't able to, you know, really go to town on Makabu the way that Bellew was. But as I say, apart from that fight, who has Makabu really beat? He hasn't beat any of the top cruiserweights out there. So I did feel as though some people were rating Makabu more highly than they should have been rating him. You know, I really did feel that. And that's why I saw this as a 50-50 fight going in. Tony Bellew won it. And yeah, he silences the critics. And hopefully I get some of these little clowns off my back for acting as though Tony Bellew had a good chance of winning this fight. Now these clowns are off my back too. Now you see, Makabu is a rudimentary fighter. And he's a good fighter, but he's not that good. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't have been getting carried away with him. Anyway, let me know what you think about Bellew's performance. And some people might get carried away with Bellew now and think he's going to go out there and beat Lebedev and Usyk and all them other guys. If that's how you pronounce Usyk or Usyk or however you pronounce it, the guy that James Ali Bashir is training. Those guys are technically better than Makabu. They're not as rudimentary as he is. They're far more complicated and sophisticated fighters. So don't expect Bellew to deal with them as easy as he dealt with Makabu. All right. So let me know how you feel.